Hi guys, Brewski back at you with another checklist. This one comes from Austin on the Retribution of Cyber Facebook page. This 75-point Forges of War list, and I went a little balls out on this one. I'm honestly afraid to say it. I'm probably going to miss interactions between different models. Austin wanted something that's fun to play, not necessarily that's going to be amazing or power gamey or whatever. He listed out several different factions he plays, and he wanted something really interesting. Talking with him a little bit further, he wanted to include a Colossal Helios, and he's got just about everything in the Ret range, so this really wasn't too bad to put together. Austin, I hope you really like it. Okay, so for the list, we're going to run Rahn, Adeptus Rahn. He's going to have in his battle group a Harpy, Helios, 2 Manicores. For the rest of the list, we've got 2 Arcanist Mechanics. We've got the Hermit of Hengehold. We've got a House Shael Artificer. A Griffin is marshaled to him. We've got 2 House Shael Magisters, a unit of House Shael Arcanists, and 2 full units of House Shael Battle Mages. So, this is Shael, and more Shael. Okay, so, Forges, by the way, it's basically the Jack theme for Retribution of Cyra. Ret Jacks get Shield Guard, which is very handy if you want to have them step in and take damage in place of another model close to them. Alright, so quickly going over Rahn and the different interactions here. Again, I'm probably going to miss some, but this thing has so many different ways to screw with people, it's not even funny. Actually, I underestimated Forges, and going into this, it was a lot more fun, but one of the more complex lists I've had to actually do the research on, so really hope you like it. Alright, so Rahn. His feat is Arcane Alignment. While in control range, friendly models get plus 2-inch range to their non-channeled spells. Magic attack and damage rolls are boosted. This means your Battle Mages, your Kittens, your Magisters, the Artificers, they all have an easier and better time casting spells. His individual abilities, Force Mastery. He has Blast Resistance, which means plus 4 armor against blast damage. Doesn't take collateral damage and can't be knocked down. When an enemy area of effect activates in Rahn's control range, you can choose the direction after the distance is rolled. In other words, you can basically force this to go whatever way after the distance gets rolled. So if you want to move something out of range, move something into range, have something automatically hit, options are yours. To put this into Magic the Gathering parlance, Rahn is a control caster. He's going to do more to manipulate than he is to straight up kill or to defend or anything else. He is manipulating the battlefield more than anything. Okay, he has a weapon called Balance. Who'da thunk? Melee, Power Strength 13, Magical, and Beat Back. After an attack is resolved, the enemy model can be pushed 1 inch directly away from Rahn, and then Rahn can advance toward it. In other words, this is a way to move people around and stay in combat with them. And several things in this army have this. Spells. Holy shit. This is where Rahn's fun comes in. Chain Blast, range 10, 3-inch AoE, power 10. After you figure where this lands, roll deviation for an additional 3-inch AoE from that point. In other words, you're dropping a plate and dropping another one afterwards. Models in the AoE are hit with a power 6 blast damage on the second one. Force Blast. Target a battle group model in his control range. Enemy models within 2 inches of that are pushed 4 inches away in an order you choose. So let's just use Helios as an example. You target Helios. Enemy models within 2 inches of him are pushed 4 inches away in whatever order. You could set this up for a lot of different things. You could clear Helios out from melee with this. You could basically have people dogpiling him and then force them to slam into things close to them. A lot of different things. Force Hammer. Instead of making normal damage, a non-incorporeal model is slammed d6 inches away from the spell's point of origin and takes a power 12 damage roll. Might not be totally useful against most opponents. If you're fighting Cricks or anything else that has ghostly or incorporeal models, come more in handy. Polarity Shield. This is where a lot of fun comes in. Target model or unit gets Polarity Field. Can't be charged or slammed by a model starting the charge or slam in its front arc. This basically just keeps someone from getting charged. Imagine if your opponent likes melee more than shooting and they really want to take out Helios, cast this on Helios, and they literally can't charge him. They have to sit there in front of him and get bitch slapped. Quite fun. Telekinesis. Move a model within 2 inches of current location. If this is an enemy, it's an offensive spell, so you have to do an attack roll. but you can only place models from this one time per turn. So this works on enemies and works on allies. If you want to move something up closer, move something out of harm's way, options out the wazoo on this, like I said. There's a lot of different things you can do with this. You can use Telekinesis to move Hermit forward. You can... The Manticores have that covering fire ability to put down a magical wall. Anything moving into it hits and gets damaged. You can slam enemies into this. You can chain blast units to soften them up. You're going to want to do this once in a while, I think, because if you're particularly fighting something that has a lot more troops than Jacks, you are going to be outnumbered. This is, the Jacks are going to have to do most of the work in this. You don't get a lot of offensive power out of the mages other than to move things. They're not hitting with a lot of power, so you're going to want Rahn to soften things up if he's not busy telling people where to be, basically. You can use this to send in the Manticores or Helios and force blast enemies out of combat with them and then charge them again. And Polarity Shield, as I've put it, really is a mindfuck against someone who wants to alpha strike you. It just makes it impossible to do. For the millionth time, I'm going to miss interactions. There's so many things you can do with Rahn, it's not even funny. Alright, so getting into his battle group. Harpy. This is a weird choice, I'm going to admit. I took this because it's shooty, because it's going to... It meshes well with the theme of pushing and moving things around with its gun. It's really not a close combat Jack. It's got flight, so it can get around terrain. The Wind Flare weapon has 2 shots at power 13. It's magical and has the Thunderbolt rule. Enemies are pushed D3 inches away from the attacking model. Critical causes a knockdown after the push. Again, this complements the Battle Mages, Rahn, everything you have in the list here. You can, if you really wanted to, and dogpile on like 1 unit or 2 units, you could basically just push them, I don't know, 6 inches or more away, depending on how many things you stack on. Close combat, this guy is really not that strong. He's got power, strength, 11 and 13 with his claws. Open-fisted, so he can throw, he can grapple, he can do all that stuff. But again, that's not what he's made for. You don't want to use him except for maybe mop up towards the end. Okay, Helios. Quit looking at the sun. Dual attacks, so this thing can fight in melee and range combat. Force barrier, +2 defense against range attack rolls, and blast resistance. In other words, +4 armor against blast. A lot of things in this army have that too. Force fields, typical Shail rule. Force gate, this is his biggie. Model can spend a focus at any time to get the following, 1 per focus. Broadcast power. Other friendly Jacks that activate within 3 inches of this model get 1 focus at the start of their activations. As I understand this, this is 1 focus for however many in range, they all get 1. I could be wrong. If so, leave it in the comments, but that's my interpretation of it. That's sick. Power up plus things like Empower from the Arcanists. Concentrated power from the Arcanist Mechanic solo. You're basically just coming up with mega myrmidons here. I mean, how many ways do you want to screw up your opponent? That also is going to free up Rahn's focus to do other things. Cast spells instead of buff Jacks. Good use. This is also great on your marshaled Griffin. That thing can't get focus from a Jack Marshal, obviously, but instead of Rahn giving it out or anything else, this can give him additional attacks and get him the fleet rule, because he needs 2 focus on him at any time to do that. Distortion field. Helios gets +2 defense and poltergeist. When an enemy model misses Helios with an attack after it's resolved, you choose to push the enemy D3 inches away. I have mixed feelings on this one. I know that you're going to have a lot of ranged attacks coming at Helios because people are going to want to get that off the board. But if you have a close combat melee or army that you're facing, they're going to try and negate that, and you're going to want to use Polarity Field from Rahn to keep them off him. Repulsor Field. When this model's hit in melee, attacker is pushed 1 inch away. That plus Polarity Field, there's no way anyone's going to get in with this guy. It's just crazy. Weapons. Tractor Beam. Range 12, rate of fire 3, force grip. This does no damage. Instead of that, enemy models hit or pushed up to 3 inches in any direction. This is another easy way to move models. You can do this to, you can even shoot your own guy. You can shoot Hermit if you want to scoot him forward or something. Inferno Fist, power strength 21, very nice. Open fist and continuous fire, so you can set things on fire doing more damage. Pretty powerful and good reason not to get into close combat with this guy unless you're another Gargantuan or Colossal. I see Helios in this list being the center of your battle group, really. It's not going to be Rahn. Rahn is going to be busy moving things around and manipulating. This guy buffs your jacks. This guy keeps them safe. This guy draws your fire. This guy can even wade in and punch something really hard. That's my thought. 2 mana cores. These guys, I'm kind of regretting in my own list I didn't take them instead of a Phoenix, but whatever. Force Fields. Force Generator gives +2 strength with the field-dependent rule, so as long as it has the Force Fields, it can have +2 strength, bringing it up to 17. Cyclone Cannon. 12-inch range, D3 shots, power 12, magical. This also has Covering Fire, which means you place a wall template anywhere within range and line of sight. Models entering or ending activation in it take magical damage at power 12. You can use this as cover. You can also use this as an offensive. It can jam your opponent. You can, with all your mittens and everything else, slam them into it and cause damage. That can be annoying as all hell, but have fun. Saber Fist ×2, power strength 17 with the field generator, open fists, not too bad. If you stack concentrated power from the Arcanist mechanic, those go up to 19. And power, you can boost attacks. These guys are going to do the heavy lifting in terms of taking out other jacks or tough targets, I think. Arcanist mechanic, duh. Repair D6. He has a wrench, so don't get him into close combat. Spells, concentrated power, which means your jack in command range gets +2 melee damage for a turn. And Empower, which undisrupts a jack and gives it +1 focus. Use him where you want. He could buff your mana cores, he can buff your Harpy if it needs it. Give extra focus to the Griffin. Whichever you prefer, really. Again, the Helios is going to do most of this. This guy is probably just icing on the cake, but he's also a repair unit. Hermit Henchhold, the crazy guy. Here's where the fun comes in. Ancient Shroud. When damage exceeds the armor value, it takes 1 damage instead of the amount. So this thing can only take 1 damage unless you have, like, a sniper shooting him or something. Dark Prophecy. When he's destroyed by an enemy models in Hermit's command range lose essence points and can't cast or channel spells for 1 round. This is really only going to help if you're playing Infernals, but my god, can you screw them up. This guy really is a damn nuke, if I ever saw one. Mad Visions. Can use this once per game when a friendly model is hit by an enemy attack within the Hermit's command range. Friendly model doesn't take a damage roll. You can basically use this if something gets nailed with a really high power attack. Use this to basically negate it once per game. Decent. Use it wisely. And he's also a Marked Soul. That has to do with Infernals. Spells. Grip of Shadows. Hermit gains telemetry for a round. This means other models get +2 to magic attack rolls against enemy models in Hermit's command range. So, another reason to move him up. Put enemy models in his command range, and your magic attacks get +2 to their magic attack rolls. This makes it easier for the battle mages to hit, the magisters to hit, that kind of thing. Whispers at the Gate. He gets Master of Ruin for 1 round. Other models within 5 inches, including yours, watch that, take -2 arm. Not only is it going to make it easier for your guys to hit models close by, if he casts this, then he's going to make everything a bit weaker and easier to damage. Word of Ruin, remove 1 essence point from each Infernal within 5 inches of Hermit and add 1 essence point to friendly Infernal models within 5 inches. Again, enemy dependent. This is one guy you don't really want to keep alive. Throw him up and make the enemy put attention on him, and A, that's going to take heat off the things you want to kill things, but it's going to make it easier to attack with your mages, as I've said. Does more damage if you cast Whispers at the Gate and give him Master of Ruin for a round. He's there to annoy, he's there to confuse, and he's there to disrupt, really make life interesting for your opponent. Okay. Shail Artificer. This is your Jack Marshal with the Griffin. Gives orders to his Jack. Look those up separately, but basically he can tell him to get up, get in, and attack. I forget those offhand. I didn't really do all that research into it because it's, Jack Marshal is what it is. He's basically running a Jack without having focus and giving focus. Drive, field reinforcement. When a Jack under command activates in command range, remove D3 damage points from force field. So the Jack itself will remove damage with focus, but this makes it possible without using focus. You can do both, potentially make that even nicer, but whatever. Force Barrier. Model gets +2 defense against range attack rolls and blast resist. We're sensing a pattern here. And set defense. Models in the front arc suffer -2 on charge, slam, power attacks, and impact attack rolls against this model. So, you have a lot of things in the list that also don't like to be charged. Not that they don't like it, but they make it really hard to have that done. This is one of them. Weapons. Gauntlets, power strength 13 and magical. Has combo smite, which means models hit or slam D6 inches away. Damage is strength +2 power. Spells. Force manipulation. He gets Polarity Shield. Can't be charged or slammed. Again. Force Wall. Friendly model or unit. If it's in range, it gets Force Barrier, which gives them the +2 defense against range attack rolls and blast resistance. And Magnabolt. I think you're going to use this more than the other ones. Range 10, power 13, offensive. If it hits, immediately push the model within 2 inches of the target model, 1 inch directly towards or away. So you target model A. You can decide to take model B, which is close to model A, within 2 inches, move it 1 inch away or towards. You can use this to screw up short-range buffs like spotters or something that has to be in base-to-base, or you can collide models, hypothetically. This guy runs your Griffin, keeps him fighting without help from the Arcanist and Helios. This allows you and another Jack without sucking focus off Rahn. Has some nifty abilities to boot. Alright, so getting into the Marshaled Griffin. This thing has the usual Shayil shields. It has fleet. If it has 2 or more focus before normal movement, it gets +2 inch movement. Makes it faster, in other words. It's a simple beat stick. He's got a halberd, power and strength 13, range 2. Powerful charge. Model gets +2 to charge attack rolls, so you always want to get the charge with him. And shield for power strength 9. Keeps him alive a bit. Again, keep him alive. It's kind of nice that he's marshaled because he can take advantage of the Shayil Artificers. He can, I mean, there's a lot to do here. He gives the drive field reinforcement, which means the shields are better. He's got some different buffs than normal Jacks because of the marshaled orders. I think Crush is the best one, gives him another +2 somewhere in there. Griffins by themselves are pretty nasty. Normal Forges lists run them in Griffin spam. You're not doing that here, but it's just a very good Jack for the points nonetheless. Okay. Then we got 2 House Shayil Magisters. These are the, I call them Papa Kittens, basically. They're a battle mage by themselves, but they give buffs and abilities. Set defense. Models in the front arc take -2 on the charge, slam, and impact attack rolls. Veteran leader to Shayil troopers. While in the model's command range, friendly Shayil troopers get +2 to attack rolls. That's your battle mages. Stick 1 with each unit, keep them close, make a bubble, whatever you want to do there. Power Gauntlets are power and strength 11, magical, and beat back, and they have combo smite. His spells are Force Bolt, which is the normal one the mages have. Power 10, range 10 spell. Enemy can be pushed D3 inches directly away or toward the caster. So you're not really doing this so much for the strength, but to move the enemy. You roll after picking which direction you want them to go. On a critical, becomes knocked down after the push. His specialty is Whip Snap. Range 6, power 12. If it hits immediately after resolved, the model or a friendly model within 3 inches can advance up to 2. In other words, you hit the enemy and pull the Magister or another friendly towards the Whip Snap target. Only works 1 per turn. You can't stack that. You can't do multiple. In other words, both your Magisters can't do the same thing. Then we've got your House Shayil Arcanist. This is the unit, not the single guy. They have Force Barrier. They each repair D3 +1 base-to-base repair for Jacks. You have to keep them together as a unit, obviously, but still, they can do more repairs than just one guy. Spells. They have Empower. Jack in command range gets 1 focus and removes disruption. They each do that, I believe. And they have Force Strike. They're not just like an Arcanist mechanic solo. They have the ability to do that range attack as well. 8-inch range, power 12 attack, and a critical causes knockdown. Rahn's feat makes them better on the offense, so that's the turn and the time you really want to use them. Spells work for each one. Super buff, 1 jack, or spread the love, whatever you're going to do. Then you got your 2 units of battle mages. They have set defense in the front arc, power gauntlets, power strength 11 with beat back. Their one spell is Force Bolt, range 10, power 10, same as their Papa basically. That's their one trick pony though, they don't have Whip Snap. Use your feat or telekinesis to buff these guys, keep the Magisters close so that you can use the Shael Veteran Leader. Same thing with Hermit, really. This is, you want to use him for the targets these guys are going to be hitting. The only problem I really see with this is you don't have big squads. You don't have a lot of units. Holding objectives is going to be a little more difficult. You're going to have to go out of your way to keep these guys alive. I don't really see, like I said, you're running forges, so think with the jacks doing most of your offense. These guys you want to move models rather than kill models. If they're mopping up at the end, you're trying to go for a caster kill and clear a line. If you're trying to go assassination, doesn't really matter. You just want to get things out of the way. They're a bit squishy. So again, it's kind of like you're not going to keep everything alive when you play a game no matter what you do. But again, you're using them for the movement, not for the attacking. So that's the list. Again, the basic summation. Use Rahn and use the Helios as your basically anchors. Rahn is going to be doing more manipulating than killing. Helios is going to be taking care of the jacks rather than Rahn, so he can use spells. Your Griffin, your Harpy, you're going to jump in and basically do mop up and bolster what the battle mages and the Magisters are doing. Your Arcanists are there to keep your jacks alive and power them up. Make the machines do the work. Make the best out of it, really. So there's your list, Austin. I really hope you like it, and I hope you have fun with this. It's a little... You could throw other things in here and really make it more flavorful. You could throw in, you know, Silas Wishnalir. You could have a couple more exotic jacks, like a Phoenix or a Sphinx. You could take more lights and really do a lot of spam. You could take more heavies instead of the Helios, but I think with everything you mentioned and everyone that you're playing against, your opponents and what they use, I think you're going to have a lot of fun with this list, and it's not necessarily something I'd bring to a tournament, but I think you're going to enjoy the list. That's what I'm really going for here. So, let me know how it works, and I'd really be happy to see this army painted. I want to see what this looks like, too, so if you don't mind, Austin, send me some pics sometime, man. Anyway, that's it for my checklist. If you guys want a list, reminder, just email me, leave a comment with the list or the models you have. I'll either review it or help you build it, either way. If you've enjoyed these videos and want to see more, subscribe to my channel for more content. If you like this, leave a like and share with a friend. I really am looking to get into more lists. I don't know particularly why I got slow on this, but I really enjoyed doing this for you guys. So anyone you know that's having trouble or trying to flesh out a list, trying to see what they can do with one, please let them know. Share the love. All right, guys, take it easy and stay savage.